What's going on, family? Man, I hope you guys are having an absolutely wonderful day. It's been a long week for me, man. It's been a busy one, guys, but that doesn't stop us from getting an opportunity to come here. This picks me up a little bit. My buddy might be a little low, but listen, we got something that's gonna make you guys smile. Yeah, just give me a second.
To turn the lights off, so.
Yes, sir. I'll see you back with my buddy Tim, my partner in crime, brother. What's going on, man?
Long day?
Yeah.
Long day.
I mentioned that early, man. I said my guys, it's had a long one, man. So
it is what it is.
We all go through
not
it.
Not the first, and it definitely won't be the last.
You can say that again. Oh,
so,
we got a pretty girl here, man. Sheesh.
We haven't, this is not the first time we've actually had one of these, so we should...
we had the electric one, right?
Play it back, editor. We had a hybrid.
We had the hybrid.
Remember when you did like the whole action thing and I pulled out and all the
we'll put that in right here.
We'll put it in right here. Here we go. Boom. Look, that car was awesome because it's, you know, even though it's a hybrid, it looks fantastic. Yeah. It looks absolutely awesome.
It was gorgeous.
That is a perfect like bar crawler, honestly. You're just going to be hot wherever you go, right?
Yeah.
And especially with the Vossens and the carbon fiber spoiler, it was just hot.
That's
right?
It was
very,
a very
really good
car,
spec.
Man.
But even I have to admit, it's still missing the V8, and you know that's something that I would look for in a car.
This thing has, you know, one thing I like about this car, it has absolutely beautiful lines.
For sure.
It's just done right. Toyota did this one really nice. You got the hips going off the back here, slender here, the lines, the mirrors. Look at this thing, man. And everything, I feel like everything ties in to this grille.
Oh, yeah.
It just ties into the grille. Grille is the centerpiece.
Yes, sir. There's been some kind of like controversial design elements on the car, but like after time and how ugly things have actually gotten with like BMWs, I don't think this is actually like controversial at all. Like,
well, it got a little flack for the grille.
For sure.
A little
like,
flack
everyone
for the
thinks
grill.
It's like, I've seen some comparisons to like this. It looks like a Gillette commercial. Yeah. But that's all modern Lexuses.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, this grill pales in comparison to some things like BMW are making.
Yeah, I would agree. I would absolutely. I don't know if it's because it's grown on me, or is it that I
think things have just gotten so much worse, and I think it actually has the ability to grow on you.
I think that you might have a good point, because I like the way everything ties in on this car. Mm-hmm. I love the way it all ties in, and the lines kill me, man. I just love the way that roof line, the side of that roof line, off those mirrors, tie into the back of the trunk. That hip that roll out for, man, this thing is beautiful. It's a beautiful car.
Do you know the history on why this car even exists?
No.
Very interesting. And by the way, this has noise canceling, right?
Yes.
You can hear me over the
Yeah, we should be able to, no problem with that.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to try not to butcher this story, but basically the long story short is...
the commenters will be all over you, so it's all good.
I know. Oh, you didn't remember every exact detail.
Yeah.
So this car is a result of the CEO of Toyota and Lexus. He went to Pebble Beach, and he didn't see a single Toyota product on the lawn. And he was like, it made him sad because he's like, I want something that we can make that will be remembered and celebrated in the future and will be brought out to the lawn, which is a little bit odd considering they made the LFA, which to me is like the ultimate.
That is the one.
Exactly.
Right.
So I think it was just the desire to continue to push to like the boundary to like make something like, you know, enthusiastic.
Okay.
But the thing that's extremely puzzling to me is that this car exists in a time frame where the front engine rear drive GT was dying.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Viper was killed off in 17, right?
Yes.
But that's an extreme case,
yeah,
right?
Very extreme.
But I think what's most important to realize is that even the Corvette ditched it.
Yeah.
They went mid-engine, and that was like the staple, like affordable front engine rear drive GT forever, right? And you have a C706, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So
that's a very good point.
Aston Martin sales were absolutely failing.
Yeah.
Right? Ferrari 812 Superfast in 2019, they were sitting on the lot.
Yep.
And especially in 2020.
Yeah, right,
they were sitting on the lots. They couldn't give them away.
That's a good point.
And that's a fantastic car.
Yes.
And but that style of car was dying off.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was short term, but it was super puzzling to me that Lexus and Toyota said, okay, so we have all this data that provides that this market segment is dying. We're going to fill it with something. It's like, what the hell are you doing? So here's the thing, though. You know, that's
a good point.
I had a feeling from the start it was going to be a little bit too highly priced. I had a feeling from the start that it was not going to move a ton of units. And that's where the interesting part comes in, because you asked that question, why would they even bother? I'll tell you why they bother. It's the same reason that the Toyota CEO wanted something in Pebble Beach in the future, is they wanted to do something because they wanted to. And how rare is that companies get to just do something because they want to, even though the data is against them.
Yeah.
And, you know, with something like the Lexus RCF, like people didn't even realize that the RCF, amazingly, I didn't even realize it's still in production. I can't even believe it's still in production.
I didn't realize
that. That's a
very good point.
There's a 2023 model year. I can't believe it. Like,
I'm baffled because I'm honestly, I thought it was killed off.
Or like 21. So
same here.
But that chassis is kind of a disaster because it's two chassis put together. So it's like a mess. That's why the styling is very odd in the RCF. And even though I do like them.
Sound amazing.
Yeah,
too.
they sound great. But that's like the benefit of this car too, is they have the same heart. Not the same transmission, but the same heart. Which we will get to in a second. But that's what's so interesting to me about this car is it didn't exist out of necessity. It was simply want. And
a desire.
And that is something that I can relate to a lot nowadays. You know, getting something because you want it and not because you need it at all.
Right. And there's so many different, probably have more reasons not to have it than to have it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but that just
more to come.
That changes the perspective for me, because then you like look at the interior and you look at the styling. I mean, number one, the interior. We have to go over this real quick because this is easily the nicest styled interior outside of an Aston Martin.
It really is.
I absolutely adore the way it looks in here and the materials and the way they're separated, and it just flows so well. And you got this like circuit, I think it's called circuit red interior. I could be completely wrong. It could be something else, but
this car is absolutely beautiful. I love the way they put this together. This spec is just stupid, man.
The styling for me, the style of an interior, I put so much weight in that.
No legs. This is literally a two-seater. Why did they even with this? It's but baffling to me.
It's just the convenience.
And this seat is up. So if we actually put this seat where it goes, the curve of the back of the seat actually almost touches the back seat. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But mad leg room.
Yeah. Tons.
God,
tons of leg room.
Beautiful.
It's definitely a traditional GT.
True.
It's That's the thing. It's just like so puzzling to me, and I keep circling back on that. But it's like the market said no, and they still did it anyway, and it's cool, and they hold their value pretty good because this one has 30, I think like 38,000 miles on it. I can confirm that later, and they're still holding pretty strong for the V8s.
You know what's
for
interesting,
sure.
man? This is a car that I never thought I would want,
Mhm.
but it always catches your attention when
For
you see
sure.
it on the road.
Yeah.
Right? It's one that you see it, it makes you look at it. You don't
Mhm.
just let this one go by.
Mhm.
You pay attention to this car.
And this is like you know, it's kind of interesting. At least not yet. I don't get offended by seeing any of these on the road. And like,
no,
you know,
not by any means.
some of my favorite
I'm
cars.
still impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite cars are like, you see them going down the road nowadays. Are like, dude, look, I grew up. No, I say grew up, but like from 18 to like 22 years old, I was all about what Dodge was doing. Hellcats and Scat. I love that because the ethos is affordable power at a price and accessibility of that power.
They own the market then.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely
For
during
sure.
that time frame as
And
well.
things kind of changed with the brand, and it's kind of the stigmas with takeovers and all that stuff. And it's just like, you know, it's not the same. This
I'll tell you what happened. The takeovers started happening, and then the CA came out.
Oh, for sure.
Everything shifted.
I think it kind of became, and this is going to be like kind of borderline offensive, but it kind of was like a BMW effect.
Yeah, it was.
Because
it was.
What happened was everyone started seeing these things as like, oh, you got money. It's like, that's why someone had to explain the splitter guard thing to me, and it makes total sense. And I know we're straying completely off this car.
No, I get it.
Want to know why guys leave splitter guards on their Mopars?
Go for it.
Because it's like when you got that new money and you want to, you know, you're not popping tags. You actually leave the tags on your clothes because you want to
show the tags on the shoes. People have the tags on their hat.
It's like the tag for like a Dodge.
That's exactly what it is.
Just fresh off the lot. So I get that. Doesn't mean I like it,
right?
Because I don't. That's the problem. Is like it became about impressing everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm not about that life. So it's, you know, this car.
Dodge left an impression, and it also impressed people because of just the sheer numbers of the car. It wasn't the most expensive car,
right?
Especially for the quality and the product that you were getting in the end. That car was just awesome.
Warranty, that was for me, was everything because there was no companies that were offering their kind of warranties.
Other than Kia and Hyundai.
Yeah, but they were not offering 500 horsepower, 700 horsepower.
No, they didn't have the horsepower, but boy, they had that 100,000.
Yeah. So, anyways, back
on this car.
The point is I see like Challengers and stuff, and I'm like, you know, I still like those cars, but I'm still kind of offended by it sometimes. This is the least offensive car I see on the road.
I would agree.
Way back to that point, but that's what I was trying to say. Is like I see these, whether it's a hybrid or a V8, it's like it's just a nice car.
I like the way you put that because I agree with you. It's not offensive. It catches your attention. You're not disappointed. You don't feel negatively about it. It's honestly, it has a refreshing look. So it will catch your attention without making you feel like, wow, why'd they do that to that car? No, it's like, man, look at that thing. That's nice. It's nice. It always gets that's nice.
Absolutely. I think it's just really well balanced. I think the styling and everything is proving itself for sure that this was the right take.
Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. Good point, though. You make some very, very good points on this.
It's a bit of a, like I said, it's a bit of the like whole detective thing when you got all the shit on the board and you're like trying to circle
the string touching one thing to the other. Yeah.
So, but pretty much point is this car is almost unoffensive on the road in any configuration. I've seen modded ones, I've seen stock ones, I've seen old dudes driving around their hybrids, and they don't offend me like at all.
I agree.
It's
now see, it's come a long way.
You know,
car's come a long way.
This kind of does for me what an Aston Martin does. I'm totally unoffended by any Aston Martin that drives on the
I would
street,
agree.
They're just
Aston Martin. They're beautiful cars. Their artwork, they may not be the fastest.
No.
They sound amazing all the time. But no, never offensive.
Yeah, I rented back when Turo was still like low key. I rented a DB9 on Turo for $250 a day. It was a DB9 convertible.
Turo is always a great way to drive a car that you haven't ever driven. Go get a car that you were interested in. Get it for a day. Treat yourself for a day and drive it and enjoy it, guys.
You have to make sure it's not a premium, though, because if it's a premium rental, that means that you have to be 30. So if you're under 30...
Good point.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. because there are a lot of limitations.
Yeah.
Best rental on there, by the way, I had a Charger Hellcat for $95 a day.
What?
Back in 2019.
What?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. So I had that car for like a week, and then I was broke. So
that's actually kind of cool.
100%. That was a great vacation. But I remember driving the Aston Martin around, and I like see people's reactions. It was never of anything negative. It was like, it's just same effect. This car has just a really kind of classy,
very classy,
super classy presence. But for me, and the reason that this is why we actually didn't film the hybrid and we're filming this one, is because it's the same reason that we brought up the RCF. They share probably one of the greatest engines to ever engine in the history of engines. And
it's beautiful,
not
man.
by like power levels, and not by you know, the power. I guess really it is. It's when people hear about the horsepower in these, they're like, oh, well, it's not that impressive. Well, look, let me tell you something. I have never heard of a single one of these engines blowing up.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Ever.
They sound amazing.
This is the legendary 5-liter V8 from Lexus.
And they run forever.
Yes. And the only things that affected the early versions in 2008 on the ISF was water pumps. And that's it. I don't hear anything about these engines ever.
This thing is immaculately clean. It's crazy.
And it's a great engine. I think that in the LC 500 trim, I think it makes 478 horsepower. And I think low 400s or high 300s torque. And in this car, it's paired to an 10-speed transmission, whereas the ISF had a ZF 8-speed. And it's kind of odd. Every iteration of this engine had a different transmission paired to it.
Wow. Kind
of strange. So ISF had a ZF 8-speed. The RCF and GSF had a Toyota-built 8-speed, and this has a Toyota-built 10-speed. So all of the versions of the car, like generationally, had a different transmission.
That's crazy.
Like, yeah, so.
This thing is absolutely, it's clean. It's super, super clean. Mm-hmm. And with the horsepower that it has, the numbers are not horrible. No. I mean, for a car, it's not it's you know, it falls in the class of sports car, mm-hmm. right? Which doesn't necessarily a sports GT touring type car, right? So it doesn't have to be the 500 horsepower car. And I promise you, because it's a Toyota, it probably doesn't take much to get there.
No. And the best part about it is this car you can own pretty much trouble-free and worry-free.
Right.
They're so reliable.
Leave it alone. Honestly, to your point, leave it alone and enjoy the car.
Yeah, that's the best part. You can still do bolt-ons and stuff, and it's still, like, reliable. I knew a guy that would just, like, slap the limiter and drift his ISF all the time with, like, 150,000 miles, and, dude, it just ate it. God. These engines are crazy. They take a lot. And these engines take a lot as far as, like, you can bolt a supercharger on them, too.
Wow.
I met a guy at a Starbucks. He pulled up to me when I had my SRT8, and he pulls up to me in the RCF, and I was like talking to him for a bit, and he was like, "Here, check it out." And he pops the hood, and there's a fucking supercharger on it. I'm like, okay, I know who's winning that race. Not me.
You know what kind of numbers he was making?
650, I think. And that's like conservatively tuned, and you want to keep it safe and Toyota reliable. That's a good number.
I mean, I'm a big advocate. If you're going to mod it, I'm all over it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to performance mods, especially under the hood, I don't. It's great to get tremendous power. That's awesome. Good on you. I believe that most of these cars can be modded to a point before break. I don't like going. To me, it just doesn't make sense. When I do mods to Zeus, I'm not going to the point where I'm gonna be worrying about braking every time I get behind the wheel, and I still want to be able to drive it, right? And there's a lot of packages, man, 850 package, easy all day that I can drive this thing and then run it when I want to. So when seeing something like this and just imagining modding it up, 650 is safe. 650 gives you great power, and 650 is a lot of power. It gives you great power for this car. And reliable without worrying about it breaking, to me, that makes sense.
I think it is this. So here's the point of this car and the whole kind of ethos of this. As we talked about the history, right,
It's pretty.
of why it exists.
Yeah.
The engine's bulletproof.
Yeah.
The interior styling is excellent. The exterior styling is excellent. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
This car presents an opportunity that you will never have again in your life.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, these cars are completely non-existent. Everything that's front engine and rear drive is going to hybridized or turbocharged.
Yeah.
Everything is gone with this
Look,
kind of
that motor
layout.
sitting just behind the axle. I mean,
Yeah.
well, I guess it's almost, I want to say probably about 2/3 of that motor is behind the axle. That's not bad.
Yeah. But the point for me is this provides a really, really interesting perspective and placement in the GT car market.
Yeah.
If you think about the rest of the GT car market, relatively high maintenance costs and potentially some unreliability.
Very good point. You take this thing to Toyota and get it working.
You can literally take this thing fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
And there's parts available.
That's
the engine's going to be reliable. I mean, it's just, I can't help but respect this and think if it gets cheap enough, I would definitely consider it for myself.
I think I would as well.
Yeah.
I think I would as well, to be honest with you. It's just too nice.
And check it out. Yeah. Jump in it. I'll close the hood so you can.
Yep. It's really, really nice. And I'm not sitting all the way on the ground like in my car. Whew. They did a really good job with the styling in this car.
Yeah, I think that's everything for me. Is styling, powertrain. This is like a total complete package.
And what year is this one?
2018.
18.
I remember that this time.
18 with a CD player. Wow.
Yep. They know their audience.
I know.
You can start it up.
Here's a key.
There's a start button on the dash.
Okay. No, I'm just showing the key.
Oh. Oops. Just like hurry up and start it, Swole.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
She sounds good.
And for stock, this thing's actually got a pretty nasty cold start, doesn't it?
It does. It sounds really good. There's a lot of features in here that just seems very familiar, especially for me in the Z in the in Zeus, man. Like this miniature pillar, the old crap handle right here. You know, the passenger having its own space, the driver being in the cockpit, everything catered to the driver. It's just very, it feels very familiar. I like it. This little steering wheel, they could have made a flat bottom, but you know. Heads up display. I wonder if we can see that. Yeah, we can see it right there in the camera. We got heads up display. A lot of really good, cool creature comforts. We got the roof. This is a nice car. It's clean too. It feels, the seats are comfortable. The bolsters hold you. This is a good one, man. This is a real good one. That's a little cup holder. This is a good car, man. You got good temperature too. Oh, she revs up quick. Down fast.
Sounds good.
It sounds amazing, man. This is a nice car. I like the way, look at this, the way this handle blends in. It's just all part of it. It's kind of artsy, you know? They just did a good job with this car. I like this car.
That's what happens when a company makes something not out of a need but a want.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of time making this car what they wanted it to be, and I think they succeeded at exactly what they wanted it to be. And what's interesting, there might be an LCF coming.
Really?
There's been some footage of a certain Lexus driving around a track, very similar looking to this, with a very interesting sounding V8, which may or may not be twin turbo from the factory.
Are you serious?
They may have done a twin turbo version or a smaller displacement twin turbo version of this engine.
Can you pop the trunk real quick?
Yeah.
Just curious to see what it looks like. I can honestly, I've never looked at the trunk of this thing.
I didn't. I have a body back here.
Oh man.
Not
a lot.
Not the most room. It's pretty flat. I mean, you have space to lay stuff back, but this is a GT. I mean,
this thing reminds me of, that's how deep it is in the back of the vet right now.
Yeah.
Like literally this.
I think it's good enough space for luggage and stuff, but here's the best
a bag.
part. You're probably
Duffels.
not. I mean,
This is not that car.
Right. I mean, unless you're fucking Danny DeVito, you're not cramming anybody back.
No, you know, this is either a single person car or you ride with one person. This is not that car.
Yeah.
This is not hanging out in the, you know, with 5 of your buddies. No, this is not that car.
Yeah.
I can see myself pretty much the way I move right now in the vet, by myself or with, you know, one person. That's it. That mat.
I should probably. Oh no, it's not in the way. Is it? No, I think I'm just not.
You're not pushing it hard enough.
Nope.
Take them lace panties off and push it like a man.
You weren't supposed to talk about that on camera.
He doesn't wear lace panties for real, guys. Man,
the fact
but this
that you
thing
would
is
even know that is disturbing to me.
I like the wheels. I'm not a chrome guy, but I still like these wheels on this car. She's pretty, man.
I love it even more with the lights on. Just looks great.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Now they're gone.
Yeah. The lines, man, are just stupid on this car. I think this car makes me like it similarly the way C7s make me like it. The body lines, the comfort of the car, just the appearance. It is just, it's a sexy car. You know, when people call cars sexy, I used to be like, what do you mean sexy? Why is a car sexy? This is a sexy car. It's got really cool lines, man. Yeah, man. Come on, man. Illinois Motors don't do the normal stuff, man. They take it to the next level all the time. All the time. Guys, listen, man. We don't do the normal around here, man. This is one of those cars that is not average by any means. Toyota and Lexus actually went through the roof on this one. This one's actually really nice. And I'm very impressed at this car. It's killing me the way this hood looks right now. I'm super impressed, man. Super impressed. Listen, man. Don't do the normal around here, man. No, no, no. You see this? Lots of greatness around here. It's a big boy. Lots of greatness. Come on, man. Nah, we don't do that normal stuff. Why is that, man? We were designed from greatness. Because you were designed from greatness. All this greatness. Guys, you got the right, the responsibility, the authority to never, ever, ever be average. So, guys, don't be average. Yeah.